Our company, Mississippi Lime, has been a successful company for over 100 years, and I've been fortunate enough to lead it for the last 12. We're beginning to think about our succession going forward, and as we looked at the internal candidates for that job, one of the guys that we think is a leading candidate to replace me as I move on was someone that needed to broaden his perspectives, develop some skills in some areas that he didn't have them. And more important than both of those is the opportunity to get away and interact with other high-level executives and get that time to think about the type of leader he wanted to become. And TEP provided an excellent opportunity for him to come get that experience, build those skills, interact with a bunch of other executives, and really think about, as he contemplates taking on a bigger leadership role, how he would want to be created. Well, first off, I'm biased. As a Darden alum, obviously TEP would be the only place I would consider sending someone. But beyond that, it has a great reputation. It's very well ranked globally. And I know the kind of quality experience that anyone would have coming to Darden, because of the strength of the faculty and the interaction with other executives that would get pulled in as part of the TEP experience. The TEP experience can fulfill a number of different needs for aspiring leaders. It can help broaden their perspective if they've fulfilled a narrow functional role. And Bill, who I sent down, had spent most of his career in sales and marketing, and we were going to move him into a broader role within the company, and it gave him the chance to see how all the pieces fit together. So it gave him that broadening experience and gave him some thinking time on organizational development issues, things like that. For someone who has maybe only worked in one business their whole career, which is very common in a small company, it gives them a chance to learn from examples of other industries, from other executives, about lessons they've learned and that the executive may be able to take back to his or her company. And it's also a way to see whether someone's ready. I mean, if someone came down here and didn't do well, struggled, thought it was boring, to me that would say this person may not be ready to move on to a higher leadership role. So I think there are a number of different things that one could get out of the program, and those are the type of people that I would look for. Bill came back with a totally different respect for people in other functions. It's not unusual in any organization that one function is pitted against another, and a lot of the frustration comes because they don't really know what it's like to walk in the other person's shoes. Coming to TEP gave Bill a really different appreciation for what the CFO is trying to do, what the VP of Operations is trying to do. He came back with a really different appreciation for that. But he also came back, more importantly, with some conceptual frameworks for thinking about business problems that he didn't have when he came down here. I mean, Bill was a very experienced, very seasoned guy, had seen and dealt with a lot of issues in his career, but always from an experiential standpoint. He came back from TEP with a conceptual framework to be able to diagnose problems, think about a broad range of alternatives to apply to solving the problem, and then analyze those and get to the right answer and implement it. So TEP really gave him that great conceptual framework to move forward, and from a broader base than he had before he came. The advantage of TEP is it's almost, and I know the original concept was, it was like a mini MBA for experienced executives, and it's not exactly that, but it does cover the waterfront. So I don't have to spend the time thinking about, all right, do I want to send them to this 1-week workshop or this 1-week workshop to build this skill or another skill. The folks who run TEP are doing that thinking for me and applying all those tools and techniques to the people that come to the program. He had a great time because number one, he was at a beautiful spot in a great time of year in June. He had got to interact with a bunch of really terrific people, which, when you're working day to day, you rarely have the time to spend having those lengthy conversations. It was an intense experience, and like most successful executives, Bill really likes intensity and challenges. And the intellectual content, the faculty, the casework really was just a lot of fun for him.